Morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Could you start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself? What are you studying? What year are you?
I am studying math, pure math, at Michigan, and my minors are computer science and creative writing. I am a senior, so I am just about to finish. I have maybe 10 credits left until I can graduate. And as for STEM Society, I've been a member for, this is my 7th semester. I was vice president last year. I'm currently president, and I'm excited to see where it goes after this.
So, for someone who maybe doesn't know a ton about what studying math looks like, could you explain it a little bit? And also, maybe you said you're studying pure math, so maybe could you explain what pure math means in particular versus other kinds?
That's a good question. I just answered this from a friend, from a brother of a friend from high school who's thinking of going into math. And I gave them an example of a homework. I said, oh, it's a lot about proving things that are true instead of just solving problems using some formulas or some algorithms we know. And that might be a bit more specific to pure math than, say, applied math or actuarial math. But that's the experience I've had. And when I said it's about proving things, the first thing he asked was, oh, like those two column proofs we do in geometry. And I said, all right, like maybe, but those are not representative of what most math classes are. I'd say like that's certainly some form of proof, but most of the problems you deal with in higher level math classes in college involve a lot more creativity, whereas that's still kind of just, whereas geometry proofs are more along the lines of follow these steps and show that the thing you know is true is true.
In college, what has been your favorite class you've taken, either in your major or out of your major?
That's a tough one. I've really enjoyed my creative writing classes since that's a very good, um, since it's very different from all the math and computer science I'm doing. They've been great ways to like get homework done, get schoolwork done, but not feel like that at all because homework involves writing a 10-page story. And that uses a totally different part of the brain than all of my than what all my STEM classes are taking up.
So, what kind of job are you interested in having after you graduate, if you know? Or more generally, like what kinds of jobs could someone who studies pure math or computer science have?
More generally, math and computer science fields are wide open. You can go into, oh, I'm blanking. You can go into research and stay in academics very easily. You can also go into jobs that directly stem from math and computer science. You can go into coding jobs, software engineering, hardware engineering, um, actuarial positions. You can go into accounting. Those are all like the general answers, not general, specific answers. But more generally, if you're showing up to a place of business and you have a math or computer science degree, that looks good. And that can open a lot more doors than what you'd expect. They feel like they're very fine-tuned majors to send you in a specific direction, but there's really a lot of places they can go. And as for me in particular, my plan is to get a master's so I can teach at the very specific. So I can teach at the community college level because I'm interested in, I think the classes that I would have the most fun teaching are high school level classes like algebra, geometry, algebra 2, but to students who are coming back to math, people who maybe have been out of school for a few years and are trying to get more higher education. I think that would have some of the most motivated students that I would be the most interested and passionate about teaching.
That's very cool. Um, so, kind of a pair of questions here. So, what has been your favorite part of college? And then also, what has been like a challenge that you faced in college?
I'd say I'd say a big challenge I've faced is time management because I, because in high school, I don't feel like I had much choice in time management, whereas a lot of classes, like math classes, have problems due every day. Here are some problems, you go home, you do them, you come back and turn them in. And that's just what happens. But now in college, homework assignments and exams are more spread out. Like a math class has one homework assignment per week, usually. And so that's not something I can do the night before and be happy with how I do on it. So I need to decide, all right, when do I know enough material that's on this homework to start working on it? And with the goal always being start working as soon as possible. So you're not scrambling at the last day trying to figure things out. So that's been a challenge for me, something that I've certainly grown and gotten better at. And I was supposed to be thinking what my favorite part of college was during this, wasn't I? That's really tough to decide, but I had a lot of fun freshman year being able to meet new people, grow to be friends with my roommate, all the people in my hall, and we actually, shows you what a nerd I am, we actually got pretty into Smash Bros. Melee. We went and competed at some tournaments. I say competed, I lost like round one, but that's fine. You can cut that from the video, right?
So kind of related to what you just said, how did you feel about moving out of your house, like with your family and living in the dorm?
It was a good experience for me. It certainly feels different not having parents there to support you and make dinner every day and do your laundry and all that good stuff that comes with living at home. But I think freshman year is a good transition period because there's still dining halls to make your meals before you're a functioning human being on your own. There are some challenges, but I feel like overall moving out's a good experience, and it's a good step in like growing as a person. At least it was for me.
And one last question for you. What advice do you have for a high school student interested in math or computer science or creative writing, or just college in general even?
I would say go out of your way to do the things that you're interested in, and don't wait for classes to hand them to you, because I can do an example for each. With creative writing, if you don't like writing, say, English papers, I don't think most people do, you should go out and write that story you've been thinking of. And for English in particular, I know as a kid, I would always get lost in making like giant worlds in my mind and in huge complex societies, and then nothing would ever come of it because the projects were way too big. So for that in particular, I would say sit down and write like a 5-page story. Have a start, have a conclusion, just to be able to say, yes, look, this is a finished product that I made. For math and computer science, no, they're kind of different. Computer science, just look into programming. It's really accessible. There's a lot of ways you can get started online if your school doesn't offer a class. There are programs like Scratch and block-based programming, which is very accessible. Look things up online. It's really interesting and not too difficult to get involved with. For math, I'm a math major, but this is the one I have the shakiest advice on, because the classes you take in high school aren't representative of classes you take in college. So my high school didn't have a math club, but that would be a great way of seeing what more college level math is like. Other things that got me interested are watching videos like Mathologer or Numberphile, and that can show off some college level math in a very high school accessible way.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I hope everyone watching learned a little more about what Chris is studying, and if anyone else is interested in those, got some good resources.